Welcome to the AI Queens podcast, the show where women entrepreneurs learn to ditch the overwhelm, embrace AI, and build businesses fit for royalty. I'm Erika Stanley, your host and tech expert, here to deliver tools, tips, and actionable strategies to help you scale smarter. Let's get to it. Hey, Queens, and welcome back to the AI Queens podcast. Today's guest is someone who is totally rewriting the rules in education and showing us all how to stay human while building with AI. Stacy Kratochvil is a teacher, instructional coach, and AI consultant in the San Francisco Bay Area. She's a founding member of the Human Intelligence Movement, where she designs human-centered AI fellowship programs for educators. She also writes for the Krauss Center for Innovation and leads workshops that help teachers navigate this totally wild AI landscape that we are all living in right now. But here's one of the things that I love most about Stacy and what kind of connected us from the beginning. She's not teaching people how to use AI to be faster. It's really about deciding where it belongs, where it doesn't, and how to stay brilliantly, unapologetically human while you're building what's next. Oh, and she's also doing all of this while raising 3 kids and asking Alexa for peace and quiet sometimes. So Stacy, welcome to AI Queens.
That was such an awesome introduction. Thank you for having me, Erika.
Thank you so much for joining us. I want to just jump right in. So, like I said, you're a teacher, instructional coach, and you're a teacher, instructional coach, AI consultant. You're also juggling 3 kids and all of the things that come along with managing a household. How do you actually use AI in your daily life?
I feel like I am really particular with how I'm using AI. I don't use it for all the things, right? Like I try to be really intentional. So I use it for a little bit of lesson planning here and there as a teacher. I do a lot of workshops. And so I use it to help me kind of craft those sessions to make them really meaningful for other adults. And then at home, I do use it sometimes when I'm cooking because I'm a terrible cook and I don't know. I always mess things up like constantly. I leave most of it to my husband, but when he's not there and I'm trying to cook, sometimes I just turn to ChatGPT to try and help me fix whatever I've already messed up or to figure out, what I need to do differently for the next time. But most of the time I'm trying to do things better with AI, not just like faster, like turning it to it for answers like we would for Google, right?
Yeah.
So
Love that. You said that AI is really bringing your career to a whole nother level. And I'm seeing this too, like the opportunities within AI, they are expanding almost as fast as the AI is expanding itself.
yes.
Take us back. What was the moment when you realized that AI wasn't just like a little tool that you could use to help figure things out, that it was really something that could accelerate your career and the depth and level that you're working?
I don't know that it happened overnight, like a moment that was like, oh, this is going to change my career, because I was happy with my career and just doing the daily grind. And I think it just over time, I was like immediately drawn to AI. As soon as it came out, I was like, oh, this is really interesting. I got to see what this thing can do. And so I started playing with it. And the more I realized what it could do and what its potential was, the more I kind of just got invested in learning all the things. So I just started collecting articles and like got obsessed and like was trying all the different models and went through all of that. And the more I experimented, the more I played with AI, the more I realized like this is something that I now have expertise in and I should be sharing this with other people. And when I started sharing, that's when I realized, oh, this is now also kind of a career shift, because now I'm doing a lot of the sharing in addition to just the teaching and the normal job roles. Right now I'm like expanding all of that, and I'm getting paid to write a blog, and I'm speaking at other schools outside of my district, and stuff that I just never thought I would be doing. AI, this like knowledge that I've gained of AI has kind of opened up the door to leadership opportunities and all kinds of things. So it's been exciting.
That's so cool. What age do you teach?
I teach high school.
Okay. That's That's so awesome. I had a brief stint as a middle school teacher. and and it's tough. Being in the classroom is tough. All of the instruction, the lesson planning, all of that. So the fact that you were using AI but also learning and making this shift where you're also teaching other teachers how they
Yeah.
can use it.
Yeah, someone asked me recently, they were like, "How do you have time to like be learning about AI and do all this?" I was like, "Girl, this is my hobby. This is like what I'm doing. Like you're shopping, that was her thing. She likes shopping and like researching for the best pair of jeans. And while she's doing that, I'm talking to ChatGPT or I'm learning about Gemini or I'm on LinkedIn connecting with other people who are talking about AI. I learned a lot from other people just in those kind of circles.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I have learned so much from other people. Like experimentation can take you really far, but when you start to meet other people in the AI space, we're all approaching problems from different perspectives, and it's so cool seeing and learning how other people's brains work when they're using
Yes.
AI. And like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could do that with Gemini. I've been trying to get ChatGPT to do that for months. Like it's 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 been really cool. And I love being in those circles, like with you. So
Yeah.
okay. So you're using it for instruction, you're using it to teach other teachers how to use it. I know that from experience and from other friends of mine who are in the educational space that is maybe not as well received initially in the educational space as it maybe was in other industries. What were some of the hurdles that you faced and might still be facing with
I was just gonna say you said were, but they're still ongoing.
with AI
There's a lot of
adoption?
judgment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of judgment, right? Like the people that are skeptical, concerned, that's all necessary. We need all the different perspectives of AI. We need to be listening to people that are concerned about the environment and the need to fact check and preserve critical thinking. These are real issues. And so I don't want to ignore those people, but sometimes they use that stance to also place judgment on other people for using AI at all. But it's not the fact that we use AI that's a problem, it's how we're using it. That really matters a lot. Like especially when we talk about students who are using AI, there's teachers that just flat out want to ban it and say AI is not allowed, don't use it here. But there are some really good ways that they could be using it to expand their thinking, to think about things from different perspectives, to challenge their own thoughts. And so it really matters how we use AI, not just that we do. And there was something silly recently that I had planned this whole PD day for teachers, professional development, and I had done it all like pretty much myself, like very little AI usage in that. But then I had used AI to revise like a protocol document to just change like the questions a little bit and the formatting looked very chat GPT. And I was sick and I didn't want to like redo the whole thing to like make it look like I hadn't used AI. So I just shared it with everyone, was like, this is the protocol we're going to use for the discussion. And there was one person in the feedback who had said, like, we should be conservative with our use of AI. I was like, I used it for this one thing that didn't matter, that didn't take I didn't need to waste my energy redoing that one handout for that purpose. But I felt that judgment
Oh yeah.
of like, why did you use AI? Right. It was very negatively looked upon. And I was like, I didn't use AI to generate the protocol, but that's where the trust and transparency part lives, that I hadn't explicitly said how I found this protocol, why we were using the protocol, how AI just reformatted it for me. I didn't give that whole explanation. So I definitely learned from that I think sometimes just saying it helps people feel a little bit
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, it's interesting because I have been using AI to outsource some of that busy work for a while now
Hmm.
and not allowing myself to outsource the high level strategic thinking, not letting it outsource my brain, but
Hmm.
outsourcing things like formatting. I just this morning I'm putting together a proposal and I had handwritten it out on like paper and pencil, took a
Yes.
picture, put it into ChatGPT, and now, of course, it looks AI generated. But all of that, like all of these plans and like here's the marketing strategy behind it, and how like here's how we're going to organize all of these campaigns. All of that is from my brain. But I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because if you think it looks like AI, you think the entire thing was created by AI.
Yes. People assume.
People assume.
And we just kind of jump to the worst case scenario that they just used AI to generate this thing because it can. But that doesn't mean that that's what happened behind the scenes. We don't really
Yeah.
know.
So, how are you helping people figure out where AI belongs and where it doesn't?
I think really just encouraging people to do that same process that you went through, Erica, just writing things down and like do the brain dump, do the human thinking first before you go to the tool. Don't let AI be the first draft or the last draft.
Ooh.
Let it help in the middle, right? Like you have to do the thinking to like know even what to ask for, right? So that you can have a good prompt and like get the best output. Use it to help you refine your own thinking, but then at the end, the human needs to come back in too and make sure that that output is exactly what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
That it's true, that it meets your needs, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's really good at pattern recognition, and then taking, I have found with my own messy thoughts when I'm working on a client strategy and I'm just like ping ping all over the place, and I've got all of these ideas. I get really excited and my ideas are sparking, and I get all of
Yes.
that brain dumped. AI is really good at taking all of those ideas and putting them together in a linear way that's going to make more sense for my client, because
Yes.
I live and breathe it every day. So I can see things not in the right order, and my brain makes those connections. My clients, this isn't their expertise. So using AI to help organize those ideas in a way that it's going to be more well received. This is like, there's that correlation with education as well, where how can I explain this in a way that the kids are going to get this
Yes.
concept? Or if these kids aren't getting, like some of them are not getting this concept, what's a different way that I can explain this?
That's absolutely like the most important part of using AI as a teacher is we could totally be using it to generate more worksheets. And there's a lot of tools that will help you like create a worksheet at the click of a button. Yay, AI is so fast. Look how amazing this is. But the real benefit is not just making things faster, right? It's making them better. And so using AI to help us translate those thoughts, right? Like to help me explain this to someone like they're 5 so that it makes sense, right? Even if they're older, right? Like, how can I explain this simply? Or how could I explain this in a different way? How could I teach this in a different way? What's an activity my students could do where they're discovering this on their own instead of the teacher just lecturing, right? You can help get all those ideas of like, how do I do more of the things that I care about as a teacher? And AI could really help us kind of see more possibilities. Sometimes we only see the way we were taught or how it's supposed to be. Like, here's a curriculum. Like, I have a book that I'm supposed to be teaching from. Like,
Yeah.
here you go. But I'm thinking like, how could I make this come to life? How could I do this differently? How could I grade differently? How could I do all these things better? And that's where AI
Ah.
helps me kind of see alternatives, right? So it's not just helping me get through things faster, but really taking the time to do things differently.
So I love this. I love this track, and I want to mention equity. Again, I was a teacher 20 years ago for a hot minute. So don't know how things have changed. I can only speak a little bit, but I remember having to come up with like different lesson plans for different levels within my same classrooms, the differentiated
Uh-huh.
instruction. And it seems like that it would be a really good opportunity to create more opportunities for equity within the classroom based on the individual students that you have. They're like,
Yep.
what are some ways that you're seeing AI being used to create more of that equity?
So really taking the time to explain to your AI tool, whatever you're using, who your students are, what their challenges are, what your challenges are as a teacher, what are all the constraints that you're working within, what things do you have available to you, like just giving it all of that context. And then trying to do exactly what you said, Erica, come up with scaffolded instruction that's for different types of learners, creating pathways where students can choose what they're going to do or how they're going to show what they know, creating choice boards for students to explore things on their own in their own way that they do. You want to read this or listen to a podcast? Do you want to go play a game? Like, what are the different ways that we can do that? So AI really helps us to come up with all those different things because it's so much brain power to do that for every single lesson, right? For
Yeah.
every lesson to stop and think like, what do all my students need today? How can I create all of these different things for them? But by being really intentional with AI and really outlining like your goals, what are you trying to do? It can help you think of those things faster or give me 50 ideas for how to do this. And then I'm going to pick the top three.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's such a great point and something that I have mentioned on a couple of my episodes, but I feel like I need to hammer it home again. When you are asking AI to help you with something, one of the biggest cheat codes I have found is to ask it for 20 different options or 50 different options.
Yep.
Because some of what it gives you is going to be crap. Like it's not right. It's not what you need. And so by asking it to give you that many options, it allows you to then use your expertise to look through those options and be like, okay, I like number 2, number 17, and number 30. Let's combine those 3 ideas along with this other thing that you sparked in my brain as I was reading through. So asking for those options is such a powerful way to make the most out of AI, which is really good at spitting out a ton of information really quickly and helping to like spark those ideas.
I still see teachers that are like, oh, I need a reflection question for the end of class. And they'll ask for one question for the end of class. And they get something crappy and they're like, oh, AI didn't help me with that. It's not very good. Like, well, maybe you just need to dig a little bit deeper, right? Like you said, like cast a wider net and then use your own human expertise and agency to choose what's the best fit for you.
Yep. For you, for your class, or like for where your students are that day. Yeah. And I know we've got a lot of entrepreneurs on here, not necessarily a lot of teachers, but I mean, this is true for all of us. Taking the very first output is, I mean, it's kind of the lazy way out. I love asking for options or,
I lost another AirPod. These things don't fit in my ears.
I love asking for options and then actually, I mean, even telling the AI like, that's not good enough. We're not deeper. We're not deep enough on this.
Yes.
So I need you to go back and let's dig deeper on this one thing and see what it comes up with. Or even telling it, those are like level 1, level 2 types of questions. What does it look like if we're going to like level 3 or level 4? And seeing what that response is.
One of my favorite things to teach my students is to push back and say, like, all of those are terrible. I don't like any of those ideas. Give me 5 more or something like that, because it gives them that agency to know that you are smarter than AI. You don't have to default to what technology is telling you. Just because it said it doesn't mean it's like the end all be all. It kind of empowers them. And the same for adults. Like it's just empowering to know that you can just shut it down and say you don't like it. That's totally okay. And you probably should most of the time.
Yes. We have to push back. We have to question. I feel like it's a huge topic right now. This form of digital literacy, knowing when to push back, knowing when to like double check the work. I think like digital literacy and fact checking are huge within my community right now. Like, so if we want to talk about using AI responsibly, what are you teaching teachers?
For their own personal use or teaching students about AI?
Both. Things to look, I mean, what are you teaching teachers? What are you teaching your students? That the importance of this digital literacy and fact checking piece, that AI is not always correct. It's not always going to have the best answer.
Sure. I think once we kind of understand a little bit of what's happening on the back end, it makes a lot more sense. So I really like to show people how AI is predicting patterns from the input that it has and all the data that it's been trained on. It's turning all of those words into numbers and using math to predict. So it really, once you know that it doesn't really have that reasoning in the same way that a human does, yes, it can do some reasoning, but it's different from how a human would reason. Just having a little bit of that basic background knowledge really helps kind of have everyone make that pause. We need that pause when we see an output to like think, well, this sounds really great. It's very confident. It sounds plausible, but then we need that moment to just pause for a second and say, wait a minute, is this really true? Where can I go to find out if this is true or not? Is there a cited source kind of in small little
Yep.
letters like
Yep.
that I can click on? Can I trace this back somewhere? And can I ask the AI, where did you get this information? But just, I think it kind of starts with building in that pause. Everyone needs to pause, because if we're going too fast and we're just jamming and we're just trusting, then that's when we forget to check up on where this information is actually coming from. Right. And especially like just knowing like some things about like different tools, because I'm sure you've used, and maybe some of your clients, Notebook LM, because Google's Notebook LM just goes through your sources, the things that you've given it. It's not pulling from all the data of the entire internet. So it's going to give you a different output than if you go to ChatGPT, because it's pulling from everything everywhere. So just knowing those little things here and there really, I think, give us the most bang for our buck as far as AI literacy, right? Just if you know that it's kind of pulling, and it's still going to make things up occasionally in Notebook LM. It's not perfect, but it will cite the sources directly within the tool. So just knowing those things is going to help us to not get caught in that trap of just like taking everything verbatim as truth.
Yeah. I I absolutely adore. I love Notebook LM. I can't I can't even imagine how much of a better student I would have been if I had had access to that, because I'm a I mean, I love to read. I love books, but I'm also an auditory learner. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And the way that you can put sources in and have it create a podcast to
Yes.
break down what are the like major themes and what do I like, what questions should I be asking? I like that, putting together a presentation, putting together flashcards. Like these are powerful learning tools. Adobe also is very similar. Like if you are not in the Google universe and you prefer something that's for business owners out there that have the Adobe suite and you have proprietary information, anything that you put into Adobe, it stays contained within its own little ecosystem, but you can create the podcasts. You can like have a conversation and chat with your documents. And it's a totally different way of learning and interacting with information that makes things for me and my brain, it makes it stickier rather
Mhm.
than just like reading a PDF report.
For sure.
So it's so cool. The resources and opportunities available now with these tools. I'm just so excited for the next generation and all the cool things they're going to get to see and do.
I know it is so exciting, because there are all those possibilities of how they are going to use AI for their learning, the things that they're going to be able to create, the doors that are going to open for them. But we also worry, because look at what happened with cell phones. We thought that that was going to be like great. We started giving kids phones years ago, and they're going to have the internet in their pocket, and we can use them in the classroom and like all these things. But we didn't teach them enough about digital well-being or social media, because we were all new to social
Yeah.
media at the same time. So like we could not have predicted where we ended up. But the cell phones are bad, and it's not and it's not that the tool is bad, it's how we use
Yeah.
it, right? And it's just, we have not taught our students to be mindful with their technology. So it is kind of this double-edged sword with AI, that it has all this potential, but we also need to teach our students how to use it well. And that's kind of what pulls me into this conversation, like wanting to talk to other educators, so that if we're just banning AI and not talking about it with them, then what's going to happen? All these kids are going to grow up abusing the tools and
Yeah.
not having that digital literacy that we've been trying to have for so long.
It's they're going to use it anyway. We're going to use it anyway. Might as well have the conversation early on. Like these are things that we need to be aware of. There are some things that to be cautious of, and these are the things that are really
Yep.
exciting. So
Totally. And my kids are little. I have a second grader, a kindergartner, and a almost 3-year old. But my second grader, especially, like, we are having so many conversations about AI already. Like she'll hear me push back and be like, no, that's not a good idea. And I know that that's so great for her, right?
Yeah.
Like just modeling how to use AI, when to not use AI. She had to do a whole habitat research project for the platypus. And she did all her research. She read a book, she watched a video, she did all the things. She was building her habitat. But then after she had done all that, we were like, hey, let's look up some fun facts about the platypus and see if there's anything to add for your presentation that you have to give. And so I let her use ChatGPT and like she was talking to it, voice mode, all the things. It's so great. But then the next day, she was like, oh, it's like almost bedtime. I didn't finish my homework. Mom, can I use your phone to use ChatGPT? I was like, I had to say no because you already know all the things about the platypus. There is nothing left for you to learn. You have mastered this project and you need to use your human brain to rewrite whatever this worksheet was for her book about the platypus. And so just teaching them those moments to like not just let them rely on the tool.
Yeah.
Like it happens so young. I did not realize until I got to this school year, like how young it's going to start where they're going to be like reliant on the tools if we let them. And we have to draw the boundary and not just say like never use it, but like we use it together. We can use it in creative ways. We can have it tell us a joke, whatever, we're learning about it. But then to also be modeling that time to put it away, what you can do, like be confident in your skills.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of our kids, and especially seeing this with teenagers too, like they lack the confidence. And so they turn to the tools, not just to replace their thinking because they can and it's the easy way out, but because they don't think that they could do it any better. They think I can't write this essay very well. If I use AI, it's going to get the A. Why wouldn't I want to rewrite it? Even if I write it first, why, there's a little button on Grammarly. Do you want to make this sound better? Like, of course, everyone wants to make it sound better. Everyone's
Yes.
going to click on that button. You can't expect kids to just like immediately ignore it and do the right thing and not click on that because we haven't modeled that enough for them to show them like, no, you can do this. You're smart, or the grade is not as important. Maybe we're not grading the output as much as we used to. Maybe we need to change that. We're not grading the whole essay. Maybe we're grading their chat. Maybe they're annotating their chat. Maybe we're like
Ah.
having a whole paper trail of like a project instead of all the grade being based on that one essay. And we're creating such a high stakes, high pressure environment that it's so easy for a kid to just say like, this is so scary. I can't do this good. I'm going to cheat and use AI to write the whole thing. We're setting up those conditions for them instead of making it like low stakes, like lots of learning over time. They can still write the essays, but if it's like the big thing that's in the grade book, it just adds an extra element of pressure. So I kind of went on a whole tangent
No.
there, but
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. That was I that's exactly what we need to hear, that there are people like you, Stacy, who are thinking of these things and having these conversations with other educators and trying to like let us know when to open the door and when to keep it shut. I like
Mhm.
yes, I could have in first grade taken my whole like little addition subtraction worksheet and used a calculator to get all the right answers. But I would not have learned addition and subtraction.
Right.
And I mean, that's a really, really simple like analogy, but it's like the confidence piece. I hear that all the time with my entrepreneur clients who feel like I can't write this Instagram caption. I can't write this blog as well as AI can write it. And the sniff test is there. Like people can now, we can spot it. We know the AI tells, and of course you can write around those, but I think that the further down this path we go, the more important it's going to be for us to keep the human in the output. Like you
Mhm.
said, not using it for the first draft and not using it for the last draft. Thank you so, so much for going down this this road with us today. Like this has been, you're like, we went off on a tangent and that was my favorite part.
And actually it's probably really relevant for anyone listening that's a parent,
Yeah.
because you're all teachers and trying to model this for your kids, because they hear us talking about AI. They hear the word chat GPT. They know what we're talking about. My 6-year-old, he just turned 6. He knows exactly what AI is. And like, we talk about it at home, and they talk to the Alexa every day. What's the weather today? Being able to like have some conversations with them about AI is really important.
I totally agree. I don't have kids, but all my friends who do, my niece and nephew, like it's good to be having those conversations and modeling the type of usage that you want them to have. So
For sure. Even in our mom group text, there were moms that were like, haha, ChatGPT just helped with the homework or did the homework or something. And I'm like, stop joking about using it to complete work for you. Like the language we use really matters. So I guess I'll leave everyone with that.
the language
Be
we
mindful.
use matters.
Yes.
Okay. So for someone who, for let's say a parent who is curious about this, but maybe been a little bit overwhelmed, has maybe kind of they've been sitting in that judgment zone where they don't want to use it and they feel like their kids shouldn't be using it. What's one thing you would recommend that they could start with this week, or something they should try out?
Something playful. Plan a vacation. Right? Plan a vacation, look for a new recipe, use it to help you do something that you're thinking about on your own, right? Like if you're stuck with something, if you have a problem, like go to AI and just experiment and see if you can push it to help you create something or think of something differently. Right. I love it. I love to use it for brainstorming, like thinking of possibilities. Like, what am I missing? Here's all my ideas. What am I not seeing? What am I missing? Give me something else. I love using it for that. But even if you're just getting started and you want to see what it's capable of, I say now is the time to plan a summer vacation and see what you can learn about the place you want to go, have it build an itinerary, put all the sites that you want to see in order by location, like do all the things to plan that out. And I think that might help you see possibility rather than a barrier or something that's wrong, but using it for something playful for
I
sure.
love that. I love that. I think that's a great way for us to close out today. Just the playfulness of these tools rather than something super serious. I would love for people to be able to connect with you if they want to find with you, work with you. What's a great way for people to connect with you online?
Yeah. Number one would be my LinkedIn, Kratochvil with a K. And I'm also on Substack.
Awesome. And Stacy, that's how we connected, was on, actually, I think we started off with Substack and then moved on to LinkedIn. So it's been so great to talk with you in, well, I guess we're still in 2 dimensions, but to be able to see you, to see your face and have this conversation with you is just, gosh, it's so interesting. And like I said, I don't have kids, so I'm not having a lot of those conversations, but whew, buddy.
But you know, with the other adults, it's the same conversations. And it feels even more important, actually. It feels important. All of it feels important, but like it's hard to get adults to change and see things differently. So it just feels even more powerful when you can talk to someone and get them to open up a little bit about AI, to see a different outcome or a different possibility, or to find a new way of using AI that they hadn't thought of before. It all feels really meaningful. So keep having those conversations.
Yes.
Everyone listening needs to be talking to everyone that they know about the things that they're doing with AI or not doing with AI.
The things we're learning and growing and building and doing, like I just,
yes,
sparking those conversations that can then put an idea in someone else's head of how they might be able to use it. So
for sure.
Awesome. Stacy, thank you so much for joining us on AI Queens today. And
thank you.
This has been such a lovely conversation. Thank you. Thank you.
So fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the AI Queens podcast. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow queen who needs to hear this. Want more tools and tips? Join the AI Queens Society over at aiqueens.com and start ruling your business with confidence today. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep reigning with AI.